Hello Internet, and welcome to my live reaction for Yomi no Tsugai, Chapter 3. When we last left our heroes, we spent a little bit more time getting acquainted with Yuru's two Tsugai, you on the left and you on the right. While Yuru and Dera and the Tsugai work to put an end to Asa and Gab's raid on the village, we get definitive confirmation that the eye patch Asa is the real Asa, meaning the Asa that Yuru knew all his life is an imposter somehow. There's still a whole lot of mysteries there. Asa mentions wanting retribution against Granny Yamaha and the whole village. But in the end, there's some real, badass, Yuru out for revenge against Gab for her massacre of the village. But everything ends in a roughly peaceful resolution, as Yuru decides to let Asa and Gab leave as long as they don't kill any more villagers, in part just to end the conflict, and also because he really does not know what's going on with Asa, I think. So Asa and Gab leave, and Yuru and Dera realizes that Yuru has to leave because the enemy, whoever they are exactly, know where he is and can break the ward on the village, and so he's not really safe there, and the enemy can keep on coming back. And so the two of them head down the mountain, where they find a car waiting for them with someone named, I think... Did we get a name for her, actually? I'm not sure. Oh, Hana. We do get the name Hana, very briefly. So yeah, with that said, let's jump right on into Chapter 3. We have a little, previously on note, Yuru and company have escaped the village. But our first shot is of the trunk of Hana's car. And I'm assuming this is Deru, trying to calm Yuru down. Because Yuru, of course, has no fucking clue what's going on right now. I'll tell you more when we're on the move. Let's leave this place as soon as possible. They're after Yuru. So he's the legendary twin. Okay. So back in the first chapter, we had that bit about, because Yuru and Asa were one was born in the day and one was born in the night, there's some religious importance to them, and I'm guessing this legendary twin term is going to be important to that. Anyway, Dera is actually Hana. It's actually Hana that he's talking to, not Yuru. And he points out left and right, and there's Sayusama. And no one's listening. And left and right are, freaking out over the car. Whoa, what's this? It's a big piece of metal. And Hana closes the trunk and finally, notes Yuru. Nice to meet you, Yuru-kun. Oh, yeah. I am Hana, Dera-senpai's servant Tsugai. Okay, so she's a Tsugai. Alright. There is this interesting bit last chapter where I think one of the Sayu Tsugai called Dera a Tsugai. And I'm not entirely sure what exactly a Tsugai is, of course. All that still is kind of unknown this early on. But just a lot of things to keep in the back of your mind. Hana is also a Tsugai. She doesn't seem to have any powers that we can see. She seems normal in the way that, left and right don't, and Gab's mouth certainly didn't. But she also has the same two-toned hair that we see in left and right. I don't know. Anyway, Dera turns to Right, I believe is the man's name. Sayusama, are there Tsugai users nearby? And Right looks around. Nope, none. This road should be safe. And Dera turns back to Yuru. Great, let's get somewhere more urban. Get in, Yuru. And Yuru, of course, has never fucking seen a car in his life before. So he's just so stunned. Even if you ask me to get into this strange thing, what is this? And Dera just sort of acknowledges, thought so. This is a car, a form of transportation in the lower lands. It's made of metal, and this lady is the driver. I love that even the two gods in the background are still just so confused by what a car is. And we see Hana, who just buckles her seatbelt and turns the car on, and it starts to move. And then stunning what's the right term for them? Uneducated gang. And Hana just yells out to very quickly explain it to them all. There's a horse inside. It will run very fast. That's close enough, I guess. And all of them instantly understand. I see. I know what it is now. And Dera just looks at them simpletons. An unknown power has awakened. Trending supernatural action manga. Yomi no Tsugai, Chapter 3, Dera and Hana. Which is an interesting thing there in that title. As I pointed out, I think very briefly last month, is that both of the first two chapters had that kind of X and Y title structure. Yuru and Asa, left and right. That's continuing here with Dera and Hana. I'm curious if that's going to be a thing that Arakawa keeps up for the whole run. But I don't know. I also don't know how long that run is going to be, so we'll have to just sort of wait and see. Anyway, we cut to Dera, who, now that we see him with his headscarf off, we see has the same two-tone hair color that Hana and the Sayu twins have. I'm curious if that means anything. Because again, Dera was called a Tsugai. So maybe that's a sign of a Tsugai, is that two-tone hair that we saw in the color cover back in Chapter 2 that I'll look at real fast is white and red. So I'm wondering if that's just the sign of a Tsugai. Though I guess the teeth don't have that hair scheme. I don't know. Anyway, Dera's filling Hana in on everything that's happened. And that's how we released Sayu-sama, brought down the helicopter, defeated the enemy Tsugai, and escaped. I subdued most of the soldiers I ran into, but there's still a lot of them. And Hana sort of growls that the enemy could deploy those troops only means more trouble. And Dera looks back at Hana. Yeah, I think it's the Kagemori family, who we've never heard of course. And Yuru, filling in for us, is also very confused. Kagemori? And Dera thinks some more, and they've learnt my name. I should shave, and probably move. And Hana just cries, no, I want to live a peaceful life. And just then, left and right sense something. And they sort of look at each other and look back, and left knocks on the car window. There's a Tsugai approaching, and Hana panics, really? And Dera just sort of takes it in stride. We're followed? And Hana's not taking it in stride. Hey, this is too soon! But Left tells her, don't worry. It's not someone who will harm us. It's an old friend. And they look back and we see this horse approaching. And we see just this woman on a horse in kind of traditional, like a kimono, I think. It's been a long time, Sayu-san. Keeping up with the car, which is impressive enough, I guess. Does your presence in the lower lands mean you have a new master? Interestingly enough, this is the first human Tsugai we've seen, assuming that the girl's also part of the Tsugai and not just the horse, to not have that two-tone hair color. I, again, have no idea if that means anything at all. I'm just kinda, shooting at air here. Right just laughs, yeah, it's been so long, we don't know anything anymore. Left is a bit more concrete there. It's been about 400 years. Our master this time as a child. And Horse Girl just laughed, oh, that's great, I love children. And then Right, is a sudden serious shift, tells her he's one of the twins divided by night and morning. Which, again, feels tied up with that legendary twin line that Dera had earlier. And we see the girl react to that as she just says, oh dear. And the horse neighs. What will you do? Who knows? First, we'll hide in a crowded village. And we see that same kind of all-black panel behind Yuru and Dera's stunned faces. And it's unclear what exactly they're stunned at. It seems to maybe be a reaction to the twins divided by night and morning line, or it might just be weird horse girl. First we'll hide in a crowded village, one of the Sayu say. And the horse girl just responds, oh, if you return, tell me everything. Have fun. And she flies away on her horse, just sort of leaving them there. As Dera and Hana panic here. First time I've seen, they really exist. Okay, they're stunned there. I figured they would know what a Tsugai is. And Yuru just comes over to them, what was that? And Dera snaps at him, not that! And Hana fills him in. Oshira-sama! She's a goddess! She's on a different level from you, Tsugai. And apparently, level is not a term that Yuru knows. Lev? And Hana cuts him off. Status! We have a translator note. Hana uses the English term level, which Yuru doesn't understand, As he grew up on the mountain, he doesn't understand the English terms incorporated into the Japanese language. Okay, it's a bit of an English bit there that Yuru doesn't get. And Dera prays as Hana weeps. I never thought I would meet them in my life. It's good to be alive. And left and right on the roof just sort of groan and gripe. We are considered gods in the village too. Why are we treated differently? I'm confused. And Yuru just then sort of asks, there are different kinds of Tsugai? Yeah, but it's just human categorization. And it's another English term Yuru does not understand, thank you translators. It's like dividing according to type. Some are gods, others are yokai. Some live peaceful among the humans, like Oshira-sama. Some are summoned by a lucky master and forced to carry out crimes. And Dera specifically reminds Yuru, like the one with teeth that attacked us. The Tsugai made of upper and lower jaws. There are also reports of them disposing of masters they dislike. And Yuru takes this all in as he watches the countryside go by. So there's this recurring theme here. It seems to be that the jaws were two Tsugai, right? And so we have the jaws, each of them being a different Tsugai. We have left and right. We have that X and Y chapter title scheme. Maybe my best guess is that Dera and Hana are another pair, like left and right, and like the teeth. But then there's this line Hana has earlier in the chapter about her being Dera Senpai's servant Tsugai, which implies they're not really they're not even like the jaws were and like left and right are. There's a bit of a hierarchy there. I don't know. Again, I don't quite know if I could be way off base here. But anyway, we then cut back to where we saw those two hikers earlier. Old Higashimura Trail entrance, 2 kilometers. It's the same kind of shrine where we had the conversation about the Mayuiga last month. And it's Gab and Asa. As Gab looks at her phone, or I think it's Asa looking at her phone. They're late picking us up. And Gab, who is just lying on Asa's lap. They're a cute little couple there, I'll say. I can imagine if this series gets big, as it probably should, I can imagine some good old-fashioned shipping content with the two of them. Anyway, we also see little mini Jaw Tsugai just resting on Gab's head. So adorable. But Gab asks Asa. Also, Asa has lent Gab her edgy coat. It's just adorable here. Are we still inside the ward? But Asa tells her, I'm getting reception, so it's this side. Even if we're inside, I'll just break the ward again. And then we see some guys who all find the two of them. There. Sorry for the wait. You've been beat up. And we see is this guy in a suit, kind of gives me Hachiken vibes. At least in his hair. He's got a little bit of stubble. And then he has these workers who are mostly wearing face masks. Anyway, Gab notes him, Jin-chan, good work. And Asa tells him, sorry we're still in the mountains, Jin-san. Both helicopters were brought down. And Jin looks around. It seems new Tsugai have appeared. I should have come with you. And he turns to one of his workers. The stretcher, please. How's your wound, Gab-chan? And Gab rubs her shoulder. Asa, we see, is taking back her coat. Bleeding stopped. I was shot by an arrow in the shoulder, then through the leg. That's serious. Don't speak as if it's just a small tooth cavity. And Gab just tells them, don't worry. I'm used to pain. And we have this shot of Asa and Jean kind of looking at her worriedly at that. And then Jean sort of lets that be and turns to Asa, and your brother's not with you. And Gab just interrupts. He escaped. And Jean sort of presses, you confirmed his existence? And Asa tells him, he's alive and well. And Gab fills in, he went down the mountain. Did you meet him? But Jean just sort of denies as a response. To think I blocked all trails up the mountain. Maybe you went down a shortcut. Perhaps he's still there. We might catch him with a helicopter. But Jean just sort of rejects that. No, we lost 2 helicopters and the troops. The master's going to be angry. And Gab sort of tells him, stay strong, Jin-chan. Asa's brother escaped with a man called Dera. He's probably the one who killed the soldiers. And I just want to say, I sort of noted this a little bit last month. This sort of strong bond that Arakawa is drawing up with our ostensible villains. Again, I'm very suspicious of the whole mountain society. There's definitely some suspicious shit there. But like we had sort of the cute little Gab and Asa moment both earlier in the chapter, and also, you know, Gab comforting Asa as she like cried with relief over Yuru being alive. We have this sort of stay strong Jin-chan, like deadpan support there for Jin that feels like there's a lived-in friendship with these villains. And it might just be good villain writing making them all like feel like people, or it might be a sign there's something more to these guys. Anyway, Jin thinks for a moment, Dera. And one of his workers calls out, Kagemori-san, isn't Dera the Tadera family? We just had to pick the day the Tsugai servant Tadera was here. Okay, so yeah, that pretty much confirms that Dera is a Tsugai working for this Tadera family. Okay. Not quite sure how all this is fitting together. I don't know. I feel like every chapter we get a little bit. This whole world seems to make a little bit more sense. But I know it's only chapter 3, but I do kind of want some idea of how this world works. Anyway, we see like Jin sort of rubbing his eyes. We just had to pick the day the Tsugai servant Tadera was here. I should have brought my Tsugai with me. And then Asa tries to comfort him. I'm sorry. I made the decision to let my brother go. I'll face the master's anger with you. And Gab sort of calls out, Asa did nothing wrong. She was protecting me. Again, we're seeing this like deep camaraderie between this trio here. And Jin tells them, don't worry, you two. It's enough that we can report to the master that he's alive and in the lower lands. Let's get down the mountain quickly. And then, as they leave, Gab keeps talking. If Asa wasn't there, I might have gotten captured. Oh, Yuru would have done more than capture you, Gab. He was ready to kill you. Were the Tsugai that strong? They were, but I was wounded by Asa's brother's arrows as well. He robbed me of my mobility, then came in for the kill. And this might be... I feel like this is Jin, actually. Though he's referring to Yuru as big brother. It might be kind of like a rib at Asa, maybe? Whoa, big brother's good, huh? Big brother has the mentality of a hunter. And then we cut to these two like surviving soldiers, I think, having made it out of the village. Wounded, but like it's pouring down rain now. Damn, we have to get down. We'll be abandoned if we don't meet with Kagemori-san soon. Hurry. And they reach the mound where everyone was, and they've already kind of abandoned him. And they sort of fall to their knees. No! This is the 5th time we've been here. It's no use, we can't get down. Okay. So they're kind of trapped up here somehow? Alright. I don't know. I'm really curious about these Kagemori guys. Like, they don't seem bad. They don't seem like villains. I mean, Gab's murder of all the adults notwithstanding, but if there is some kind of if there's some sort of war, or if the adults are all in on some big secret that's doing something bad, you can understand why maybe Gab would, like, be so violently opposed to them. I don't know. Anyway, back down in the lower lands at some rest stop, I guess, or a gas station. I'm assuming this is someone saying to Yuru, here, come and change. Oh, this is Hana, actually. You stand out too much. Change into this. And she hands him like a t-shirt. And Yuru looks at it, Nukitogi? Which, translator note, Nukitogi is a simple Japanese clothing that is like a shirt. Hana responds, yeah. And this is like a hakama. A hakama is like a pair of pants. And Dera comes in with these, like, sandals. Here, sandals of the lower lands. Hana tells him, you look good in delinquent style, Captain. And this? You should know what rice balls are. And it's like, because of the way that, like, modern food is made, Yuri was stunned just, like, how like, well-prepared things are. Pure rice? No other grains? And konbu, which is a type of seaweed, the translator note tells us, these are high-end ingredients. Oh, right, you're from the village. And then as Yuru eats, he calls, delicious! This is food for the gods! Oh, eat this too. Have some more. And Hana just looks on at them. Are you like his relative? And Yuru just sort of, as he eats, I want Asa to taste this too. And that's become heavy, given all of the Asa drama. That Asa is both opposed to him in some way we don't know, and also maybe a clone or an imposter or something. Anyway, Yuru sort of looks sad at his rice ball now, and Wright calls down from above the car, Hey Dera, what is this place? Oh, it's called a service area. It's like an inn. There's restaurants, restrooms, you can buy souvenirs. And Left and Right is really excited to explore this new world. Want to take a look? But Wright just tells him, it's fine. We'll stay with Yuru. Why don't you go and have some food? Left tells him, we'll look over Yuru. And we see Yuru just unable to really... He's changed, but unable to really get any energy to like get up and move after everything that's happened to him. And Dera and Hana look at each other and then tell him, thanks for the offer. Hana-chan, let's eat. Sure. And then she calls up to the Tsugai, please don't touch the driver's seat. And Wright just questions, don't you need to feed the horse inside? We'll feed it with oil later. And then we once again just see Yuru sitting there alone in the car, moping. We cut to the restaurant as Hana asks, how much did you tell him? Learning that his sister isn't really a sister already has him in a panic. I thought it better not to overwhelm him with more information. How nice of you. He's still a kid. And Hana responds, I don't like kids. Wouldn't know anything about that. Alright. For some reason that line there was something weird about it, in that I wouldn't know anything about being a kid, like maybe she wasn't a kid, which like if she's a Tsugai, it might make sense if Tsugais are like fully formed as adults or something. Again, I have no idea how that works exactly. Anyway, Hana gives a little itadakimasu and goes on, and what now? Drive the two of you back to Senpai's place? And Dera tells her, no. I told you, they know my name and what I look like. I'll have to move. Senpai here being Dera. Okay. And Hana just goes on, homeless with a kid, huh? Sounds harsh. Don't talk like it's Don't talk like it's not your business. As a Tsugai servant of Higashimura, you must help as well. Well, I'll do what I can. And is Higashimura the name of the trail that we saw? Yeah, it is. Back when the Yuru, not the Yuru, the Asa and Gab scene. Which, like, I don't know. There are so many questions rolling around here. I don't quite know where to start looking at that. Anyway, Hana tells him, well, I'll do what I can. And Dera just looks at her all of a sudden like serious. Great. Marry me, Hana-chan. And Hana is just like, what? And she puts on these like brass knuckles. Here's our wedding ring. You always carry that around? And she just goes on, why must I marry Senpai? Huh? It's a masquerade. In order to protect Yuru, we'll have to live among other people. In the country, gossip spreads fast. We'll have to live in a sizable city. But I'm not sure if I can do it on my own. And so it's a reasonable assumption to like get Hana to live with him. But like, as Hana points out, we don't have to marry, do we? We'll room share. But Dera sort of tries to explain, it's easier to rent a house as a family and we'll be more trusted. If it has to be a family, I can be Yuru's elder sister. And Dera can be a single father. I mean, alright, I think that might work. A dad stuck with kids whose wife ran off? An energetic dad raising two kids whose wife passed before him. That's how the gossip will go. We'll be conspicuous. Oh no, this is Dera trying to argue his own, like in his own defense. We have this like image of the two respective scenarios Dera brought up. And Dera goes on, Yuru is my son. I remarried a young woman. Let's roll with it. It's just a masquerade. Thanks for the help. And Hana just goes on, I don't want to. What about our name and head of household? No, I want to marry Jason Ratham. Who's clearly Jason Statham, I guess. And outside, Left and Right are just sort of focusing on the car as Right tries to like work out how do they fit a horse in this small box. And left comments, amazing lower land technology. And Yuru calls up to them, sorry, Sayu-sama. I'm the only one who has eaten. Aren't the two of you hungry? And Right sort of laughs, how kind our master is, as as Left tells him, don't worry, we don't eat human food. And Yuru sort of looks at them, how do I address you individually? However you want. You can name us if you like. And Yuru just sticks with Right-sama and Left-sama, and Right tells him, sounds so stiff. You're our master, so you can be informal. Then Right-san and Left-san? And Right seems to be happy with that. And then Yuru all of a sudden gets serious. First, please tell me everything you know about my sister and I. Alright, cutting right to the chase here, maybe. But the Left and Right are kind of taking aback at that. And Sayu sort of starts explaining. There we go. The two of us have stayed in the village these 400 years. We sat at the entrance of Higashimura, so we only saw people coming and going. We don't know much about what happened inside the village. A while after villagers started saying twins were born, we saw you. You went hunting with your father at a young age. And Yuru tells him, yeah, hunting with my father is one of my earliest memories. And Left tells him, however, we started seeing your twin less and less. That's why we thought she died of illness soon after birth. But about 10 years ago, we saw your parents running away with a young girl. Oh. So it wasn't Asa who ran away. It was the parents. Okay, that's interesting. The blood of that girl smelled the same as yours. And Yuru sort of completes the story. And after she grew up, she attacked the village. I thought father and mother left me and Asa behind. Seems it was just me. Okay. I'm wondering why. Did they just, care for Asa more? Or is there some reason to... Hold on, I had a thought. I'll get to it in a minute. Or they have some reason to spirit Asa away? Is she somehow, some special thing about her and not Yuru? But another thing that I just noted is that two-tone hair on Yuru's father. Is Yuru a Tsugai? Is Yuru half Tsugai or something? Is that a possibility? I have no idea. I know so little about this world. But anyway, Left and Right sort of get kind of sad at Yuru's statement. And then Yuru comments, which means the person who said she was the real Asa may know where my parents are, right? Great. And you're sort of trying to find a happy light to this. And then we get to Dera and Hana returning. We're back, and we see Hana's mouth bleeding as Yuru looks at her. What's wrong, Hana-san? A lot of things happened. I'm to be your guardian. Guardian? The person who takes responsibility when you get in trouble. And she sort of tells Yuru, hey, Yuru, we'll be driving for a while. Don't you need to go to the restroom? And Yuru, who's a very, 16th century kind of guy, no, I already did it here. Trouble already! And then Hana just goes on, and you can't sit on the roof of the car. People will stare. And Yuru looks at her, I can't? And he jumps down, but Sayu-sama have been sitting there all this time. And Hana just tells him, normal people can't see the Tsugai. Really? And he looks at Right, and Right just tells him that Tsugai users like you can see us. But that's an interesting thing, because Hana refers to herself as a Tsugai. Did, the restaurant owners not see her? When they're driving, do they just see a car driving itself? I don't know. Or actually, Left goes on, we can also intercede and allow certain people to see us. Which we did see Right do with the little girl last month. And then Left comments, and there are people with good instincts who can see us. And we see this couple walking by, holding a dog, and the dog notices Left and starts barking at her, as the woman notes, what's wrong? And the man, what are you barking at? And as they leave, Yuru is sort of trying to get more answers as to whatever the hell kind of world he's just wandered into. You mentioned the Kagemori family. Are they Tsugai users? Yeah, they have a few. And Yuru questions, what kind of family are they? A troublesome one. They left Higashimura for the lower lands and rose into prominence. They're like a family branch of the village. Okay, so even Kagemori comes from Higashimura. Are all Tsugai users trace their lineage back to Higashimura or something? I don't know. Anyway, Dera goes on. They left the village because they had different ideals. And Hana tells them, you don't want to get involved with them. There's a network of people originally from Higashimura, but a little while ago, word was that one of the twins was at the Kagemoris. It turned out to be true. Okay. So for some reason, people leave Higashimura to set up life in the lower lands to do something. What is the purpose of Higashimura? I feel like there's so much here, so much of the world building here rests on whatever this purpose of Higashimura is, and so I don't quite know what's going on until we have that purpose. But anyway, we cut to like a big city, and like a bunch of skyscrapers on a river. Kind of brings to mind March Comes Like a Lion a little bit. But we see someone running through an apartment hallway, and it's this woman who makes it to the elevator, presses the down arrow, just chanting, quickly, 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 close quickly. She's closing the door, but someone jams their foot in between the elevator doors. Someone who's kind of reminiscent of Gab, but I doubt it's actually Gab, tells her, Aoi-chan, why are you running? And the woman, Aoi, gets on the other side of the elevator screaming, stop! Don't come any closer! And her assailant tells her, even if you say that. And he raises this machete. I can't kill you if I'm not closer. And the elevator closes. Stop! You mustn't! If you come any nearer... Oh. She's like an anglerfish! That's fucking cool. Okay. This human body is like the light of an anglerfish. It's my territory. And from beneath her rises the jaws of an anglerfish. And this guy is already surrounded. I'm going to go on a limb here and say this guy is just some random douchebag trying to, some random murderer or something. Having no idea he's dealing with a Tsugai here. Anyway, we cut to Jean, who's actually calling Aoi. Hello, Aoi-san. It's Jean. About the stalker we talked about. I promise I won't let her near you a second time. It's safe for you to leave now. I'll contact the owner later. Good work today. And as he's calling Aoi, I think it's a voicemail or something, because Aoi is still just murdering this guy. From inside the mouth of her anglerfish body, we see these, all these hands surrounding this creep. And then we cut to this woman who also reaches the elevator. The elevator doors open. And the anglerfish, Aoi, just slides out of the elevator. And she turns back towards the woman, who maybe can't see her, but can clearly sense her. Just getting really uncomfortable. And then the woman's actually shocked because she sees the knife on the ground, I think. And Aoi just reaches out and grabs the knife with her hand in the mouth and swallows it. And as Aoi swims away, Aoi is Jean Tsugai. That's what's going on here. Because Jean appears behind her. You can see, can't you? And the woman turns, and Jean just shushes her. It's a secret. Tsugai users killing without leaving a trace. Okay. Damn, that ending was kind of wild. Alright, so I want to take a look at Jean's last line, or Jean's line to Aoi here. About the stalker we talked about, I promise I won't let her near you a second time. It's safe for you to leave now. I'll contact the owner later. Good work today. Is that stalker the person that Aoi kills? I can't really tell. I really just cannot tell. Not sure how exactly we're supposed to be interpreting that, really. But it's just a cool fucking design, I will say. Aoi's fucking neat. Yeah. Yeah, she's cool. She's real cool. We're a fan, I think. But yeah, there's this like random office worker who can see Tsugai. I guess like Left implied it was a possibility for random people to see Tsugai. And she's just like not here for this. I don't think Jean's going to kill this rando, but I'm not sure. Because again, we're being told the Kagemori are like, you know, evil or something. I'm not quite sure we should be believing it. I'm not quite sure Dera's as trustworthy as he seems to be. But anyway, there's a lot here, a lot of good little character beats here, especially with the Kagemori gang, and a little bit of just learning something about this world, which like it's time for us to learn some. I think it's time for us to learn a little bit more concrete. We don't need to have all the answers yet. It's chapter 3 after all, but I think it would be beneficial, I think, to have a little bit more concreteness to some of the world building here. If that makes any sense at all. But anyway, there's just so much stuff in every chapter. There's some real good comedy. Again, I love those like there's a mini horse in the car thing is a really funny gag. Just Hana and Dera's panic over meeting a goddess is pretty funny. I just love the Asa and Gab scene. It's just a really fun bit. They're fun characters. I hope we just learn more about them. Like, it really feels like there's a lot more here with the Kagemori than at the very least, Dera wants us to believe. Especially because it's not really the Kagemori abandoning their soldiers in this random little scene. Right after Gab, Asa, and Jean leave, it's kind of the Higashimura folks who have trapped them in this like cycle or whatever the hell happens to them. So again, that whole segment feels primed to like stress the sort of humanity of our supposed villains and question the morality of our supposed heroes. So again, real interesting stuff going on there. The Hana and Dera stuff is good for some comedy. There was a little bit unclear in the end if, like, in the end, Dera got his wish for their cover story. It sort of seems like that as Hana declares herself his guardian in that scene later on. But it's Yuru is not quite aware. Yuru and the audience are not quite aware of what exact family dynamics that whole gang is going with. Anyway, I do like. I'm kind of curious as to a lot of things with Yuru, specifically how he feels about his parents, how he feels about Asa, like the fact that his parents chose Asa over him. What is that going to like do to him? You know. And we have that bit, like, he sort of brushes it off, seemingly. But we spend, you know, the better part of a page focusing on that concept. That Yuru was the one left behind, and they took Asa with them. But then he sort of pivots to, you know, the real Asa may know where my parents are. And I'm curious if, like, that's going to end up being a goal for him. Because we haven't really had a lot of time emphasizing he's, like, looking for his parents or anything. I don't know. I just don't know with that. I'm going to get a little bit of more information or supposed information on the Kagemoris, that Dera provides. They have, like, a different set of ideals from the village, and you don't want to get involved with them. Which, you know, it fits with their faction, if I'm understanding this conflict properly. But again, I'm not quite sure how much we should be trusting them. And then we have this fun bit with Aoi, who seems so innocent and is just the light of an anglerfish, which is such a cool bit. And yeah, I don't know. There's some good shit here, and I can't wait to see how all this plays out. Yomi no Tsugai is really shaping up to be just a really, really fun manga. We're only 3 chapters in, to be sure, but I'm loving every chapter so far, and I cannot wait for more. So yeah, with that, I'm going to leave this video off here. Hope you'll enjoy the chapter and the video itself. If you did, feel free to drop me a like or subscribe, or, do whatever makes you happy, And as always, your life is your own, okay? Bye!